Get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
The one thing that we know how to do is get turned up. I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother, as always, my brother Sean Ducross. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors right here on IELiveTV.com. Also live on Facebook, also live on YouTube TV. So believe it, you can find us all around the world. But in the meantime, in the Warriors Den, we have Kay Hansen, Invicta fighter, in the Warriors Den with us. And we also have Sara Pierotti in the building. I don't know if I said that right, but it was pretty close. Half English and half Italian, if you want to call it that. But in the meantime, something that's been shaken up in the world is we have Drew Chatman doing something stupid. Then we have ESPN, who used to, well, where we used to be for a little while. Yes, that very footage that you are seeing right behind us
will come up soon.
Yes, we'll get to that. Trust me.
Due to the conversation we had prior to coming on air,
and we have to swing the camera over to Kay Hansen as well as Sarah in the building because, yeah, we had to talk just before we came on the air, and we kind of need their take too, is that ESPN, WWE decided to throw Ronda Rousey out there on ESPN, and two issues came about that with the Golic interview and the Max Killer interview. I've been doing this for 10 years. Something that I know oh too well is fumbling over words, not asking the right questions, and why I always say cross the line with the Ducross brothers, because that's something that we do. And why not start with Ronda Rousey and ESPN?
One thing that I've learned about doing these interviews is, like I was saying beforehand, was that if you get stuck in a situation, you laugh about it, you move on from it, or you cut the interview. One of the worst interviews we've ever done was Adam Schefter.
Yes, sir.
We did him. That was one of our coups that we wanted to do, was interview Adam Schefter and say, you know what, we took that one off our bucket list. But when we got a chance to interview him, it was awkward. It was uncomfortable.
It was like trying to pull questions out and you couldn't really get the answer.
And all you got was the yes answer, the no answer. That's all you got. And then in this situation, what did we do? We laughed about it and then we ended the interview. Yeah, I think it was a 5-minute interview, right? And we said, nah, we're good. The other worst interview we ever did was Tim Kennedy. One of the worst. Dead personality. Didn't know how to respond to certain things. It was awkward for us. But we found the common ground with that interview, got to what loosened up Kennedy, and what made it an interesting interview for us. You learn and you adapt in an interview. You don't just tuck your tail and dig a hole and that you can't get out of. And Mike Golic, and I was talking about, I didn't want to touch this because it's ESPN. I didn't want to touch this because it's Mike Golic and Trey Wingo. But at the end of the day, when you've got Mike Golic and you got people that are interviewing fighters, one of two things need to either happen. You need to know what you're talking about, who you're talking to, or at the end of the day, man, stay in your lane. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't go into it. I get that it was ESPN and I get that it's Ronda Rousey and WWE saying you must interview her or whatever the situation may be. If you don't know, do your homework, learn what you're asking, don't get involved in a situation that you don't know.
Something that brings me, there's plenty of people that are in our field that attempt to do interviews, like we're going to bring on Kay Hansen and Sarah here in a minute, is that I watched an interview with a guy and you don't know how many fights somebody had. Like, you don't know? That's a problem. Here you have the same issue. Why would you even go back in time to talk about an issue that shouldn't even been talked about? WrestleMania is on April 8th. That should be the top topic. And you're talking about MMA. You're talking about something that she left. You're talking about backlash that you read somewhere. Like, you and I always talk about, dude, we have our own opinions. I don't care if you like it or you hate it. Plain and simple. Everybody has an opinion. But if you don't have your own opinion and you don't back it, then who cares? Max Kellerman had an opinion. He was the only one. And you shouldn't have to backpedal in an interview and say, well, I'm the one that backed you. I'm the one that sided with you. And then you get a half-smarted comment from Ronda Rousey saying, well, thank you. Good for you. I didn't buy that 100% that she did buy into it. That's an issue as a fighter, as an interviewer. Your job is to know your facts. One of my issues is that as interviewers or as personalities, something that bugs me to no end is the fact that everybody has 1,000 papers lying around all over their desk. So-called prep. Everybody's told my brother and I that nobody can out-prep us, nobody can do interviews like we do. As a personality, I don't want scripted questions because then you're not listening to the fighter. You're not listening to the person you're talking to. That's a problem. Mike Golick, same issue. Brings up past. Got his own words twisted. Ronda Rousey's getting annoyed and pissed. Now she's over the interview. So anything that you do ask her,
It's done.
it's done because now she's going to have a smart comment for you. She's going to have an attitude and a smug look on live camera. And then what do?
So
Like
Kay,
you saw Stephen A. Smith look at Max Kellerman like.
so this is
do
where
I
the
wanna-"
this is where the question comes into either Kay or Sarah, is that two young fighters in this game getting used to the idea of being interviewed. Kay being a little bit more up there as being a pro and being an Invicta. How would you handle a situation like that? And then for somebody who's going into that field and getting ready to debut, do you have an idea how you would have handled that situation if asked about would you go back and fight? How would you guys handle that? Would you be on the side of what Golick? Would you have agreed with his situation and how he asked the question?
Or would you be like Ronda Rousey and be annoyed?
I mean, I think I'd be annoyed. I mean, how could you not be? I mean, the way she went out, it wasn't the best, and everyone knows it's no secret. But, I mean, she's moved on, and everyone knows that. There's no reason to be asking those questions. And I think it's kind of disrespectful, in my opinion, because she's done so much for the sport for women. Like, we wouldn't be able to have promotion. We wouldn't even be in the UFC if it wasn't for her. You know what I mean? Annoyed with all these dumb questions about returning to MMA because everyone already knows the answer, and she shouldn't have to keep answering the same thing over and over again.
What do you say, Sarah?
I agree with everything that Kay had to say. I think that it's possible that he may have a desire to see her fight again, just like many of us. But I think that we can agree that she has moved on, and she's married now. She's living a happy life, doing what she wants to do. And, yeah, I think this all happens for a reason. So that's my opinion.
See, my whole thinking is that at that point, if it is a personal belief, and it is something that, you know, as a fan, shouldn't you take that idea out of your head when you're interviewing and you're talking to a fighter? Like I've always been taught when I'm talking to a fighter or talking to a personality that I am talking to them, a casual conversation, a casual understanding that when I'm interviewing or I'm talking to somebody that it's about what is trending, what is going on right now, not what I think I should see from you, not what I think is the perception out there. Like perception and an idea should be out. Have your own opinions, have your own direction of where you want to go. Stop reading whatever the headline says. It's your show. It is your interview. You dictate the way that should go.
And that's exactly true, is that you should dictate and pull the interview back before you lose it. And I feel like that if you're going to ask about MMA with Ronda Rousey, shouldn't you have known going into that interview of what her do's and don'ts are? Like at the beginning, Kay straight up told us, we can ask her anything we want.
How's the stitches, by the way?
Yeah, they're great.
Do they itch?
No, they don't actually.
Okay.
The only problem I have is I sleep on this side. So like at night, like when I roll over, I'm like, oh shit, like, and it hurts a little bit. But other than that, like I get them out on Saturday. But I mean, the only thing I have to watch out is like when I brush my hair, like so that I don't like snag it. But yeah, they're good.
See?
It's kind of weird, but
See,
they're
so,
alright.
so she told us nothing's off limits. We talked to Sarah all day today prior to the interview. Again, we got to know her before we came in here. So if you're this big conglomerate, shouldn't you have already known going in what you can and cannot ask?
I think it's pretty obvious too. I think it goes without saying. Like, I don't think you should have to ask Ronda, hey, do you want to talk about MMA? Because I mean, what are the odds that she's gonna want to do that?
Okay, Kay, but here's the thing.
I would straight up ask her about MMA. But then again, I wouldn't ask, would you go back in time to fight in an octagon?
That was pretty.
Back to the Future time. Where's the car? What's the car? The DeLorean? Let's get in a DeLorean and go back in time. But I so would do that. But
Let's call it Michael J. Fox and see if he can get those Nikes lit up. Let's go back in time and see what we can dig up.
But that's the thing, dude. Like, I would not have asked. I would not have asked about an MMA question with a now professional wrestler because I have known O2 well from a guy named Bill Goldberg, who is, I'm 5'9", 9.5. I ain't joking. This dude, I have met several occasions, and I've talked to him several occasions. I have a picture with him and I where I swear looked like he could break me in two.
you?
Yes. He gave me a big old hug, and I swear I'm like half his size. And I remember him telling me, "What you can ask me about Muay Thai, you can talk to me about mixed martial arts. I got you all day,
But don't ask me
ever
about
ask
wrestling."
me about wrestling." He made it perfectly clear. Don't you ever ask me about wrestling. So we're like, well, why?
So you're
Because-
telling me, then at the end of the day, there is no way Mike Golick did not know that he should not
And
have
there's
asked
no way
that question.
that Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, First Take knew what was and what wasn't off limits. And that's what bugs me is that WWE put her on First Take, a girl that hasn't spoken in months outside of 2 words. Can't act.
More than that, it's like been a year.
Right. And she can't act. Have you seen her on WWE? Like, I'm still trying to figure out what she's supposed to do.
She's got this mean look face.
Dude, she judo tossed whoever she was fighting last week on Monday Night Raw. And I swear it looked like for a second she was literally going to break the girl's arm. And Kurt Angle's like, please don't. And she's just staring at him. Like, no facial expression. Like, and then you're going on First Take. Have a nice day. Stephanie and Triple H are on the shows prior, and they know what to do. They know how to sell the card. They know how to talk it. They know how to get in and out of conversations. But you just literally fed Ronda Rousey to the pack of wolves and just went, please survive. But that's not what we could say about what happened with the LFA debacle with Drew Chatman.
I saw so many people all over the spectrum talking about
It's literally
that
all over
incident.
there.
And
Like, if we thought Kim Kardashian's thing broke the internet, this is pretty damn close to it.
considering that this has gone so left now that, again, prior to the show, we were talking about defending this. Is it a 90-day suspension or is it more? To me, when you hurt a guy that is already knocked out from his own blow, and you do
I
a
was going
front
to say
flip
that. You
and
have
land
to
on the
make that
guy's
perfectly
middle of the
clear.
back,
His own blow.
and you do a front flip
Bam.
and you land on a guy's middle back, this isn't WWE. This ain't wrestling. The guy's human. This ain't staged. He's got a real spine. You just landed on. You better hope
Dude,
that he can still walk.
I love how the dude wakes up, though, like all a Undertaker. Like, pops up, dazed, confused. The dude's like, look at him, like, what happened? And they're like, he just jumped on your back.
And did a senton on the top, also on top of that.
Apparently, we're now going to hold WWE and wrestling here because apparently everybody wants to have some kind of move out of the WWE. We got a front flip into a swanton. We got Ronda Rousey in the WWE not knowing how to talk.
Want to know what the kicker is about this guy?
Ninja choke. Yes. Thank you.
The infamous ninja choke that
choke.
nobody's ever heard except for it's a guillotine.
Right?
So, dude, the guillotine choke and the ninja choke apparently is very similar.
See, that's why we are so not scripted.
Dude, either one of you guys
know what a
ninja
choke
is?
No, I've never heard of that.
Nope.
Audience, does anybody know what
ninja choke? Ninja choke? No. See,
we're not the only ones.
instead I get a paper live commentary on a show that says, I was like, dude, that was a guillotine choke, and the dude slides me a piece of paper and goes, ninja choke, and I'm like, the hell is a ninja choke? Where's the camo guys? Pull over a camo guy. Hey, explain to me what a ninja choke is. Found out something new. But you can't allow this stuff to happen in MMA. Like, you are literally trying to make this a top flight organization. You're trying to make MMA profitable to the world. And in the United States, it is falling on deaf ears because people want to make money. You ain't going to make money out here because of MMA. And let alone, you're showcasing in LFA a fight of this magnitude, a debuter guy, a guy that has been around here. His quarterman is Josh Koscheck, who just poke him in the eye and he quit.
So this guy trains with Josh Koscheck, and his nickname is, wait for it, Honorable Chatman.
What is so honorable about him?
He did a front flip on a dude and did a senton.
This on his back.
And what you don't see is that he finishes that flip and lands on his back. Again. Not once, but twice. And he went ahead and got a 90-day suspension.
For disqualification.
Fined his purse of $500.
Cool.
But now you've got Andy Foster saying, you know what? It eased his suspension when he came out and deeply apologized for his actions. So that means
that he has better acting classes than Ronda Rousey?
I'm assuming so, that I guess when you get behind a camera, you can act and go, I'm very, very sorry. You forgive me? Yes, 90-day suspension.
Absolutely.
Move on.
You get the max DQ punishment, 90 days.
But then you look at the backlash, and Andy Foster from CSAC comes out and says, wait, hold up. He apologized, it lessened his suspension, but at the end of the day, we may do something to his license. So you know what? I went and dug a little deep and find out, well, what exactly can you do to his license? And one thing that was brought to my attention that you can do to his license is basically say that he can't fight in California. You could take that.
Kay Hansen's over here shaking her head like, dude, I knew that.
So you can revoke a license. On top of that, you could go ahead and put revisions that he has to take some type of testing or apply for his license every time he fights. Like, you could go so many different ways with what you can apparently do to somebody's CSAC license that I had no idea about. And that this can actually get further worse for Drew Chatman, who says, oh, I don't see any further issue of me being suffered a lifetime ban. You may not, but CSAC may say, guess what? You're going to be suspended for a year. Or you can never fight in California. So at the end of the day, either one of those happens, you could basically say your career is done. Your only hope is to go overseas and hope that ACB, hope that one, or somebody is going to pick you up.
He would be perfect if he went to Pride, because then he could be the running gimmick over there, just like Gabby Garcia. Let's fight 50-year-old women and call it a day. Or Sean's going to spit out water. Or fight, what is it, a 100-year-old woman, come on over 100 pounds overweight and say that I can beat up anybody? And Chatman could go across the bow, join Pride, and come out as him as doing the front flip mastermind behind it. And he could actually make money, so why not? He could be a character over there in Japan, come out with a mask on.
See, and the other thing too is that if the other guy is very hurt, then what he could do, what CSAC could do is say, guess what, you have to pay all of his medical bills.
Dude,
like
I
a
am
fighter has
milking
the
that-
ability to pay all those medical bills plus his.
I am milking that like a car accident. Hit me from behind. Whiplash.
Can I get a
Neck brace. My back is hurt. Whiplash. Tweaked. I need to go to medical area to get tested and stuff like that. Dude, that is where we're at right now with Drew Chatman. Like, this guy, I don't want to see him fight. If you get, man, you should have been immediately pulled to the side. Like, you're a little 5-year-old boy. You did something wrong. You should be pulled to the corner. And you get a timeout, sir. Get in that corner. Because Drew Chatman, that should have been the first thing. Instead, they're all celebrating like they won a title.
And then, oh, by the way, you just lost.
Yeah.
You've been disqualified. So you know that front flip you did?
Doesn't
Was it really
count.
worth it?
Right. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get into Canelo talk because he ate the wrong meat. He gets slapped with a suspension. I'm telling you, dumb stuff in MMA. Cross the line with the DuCross Brothers Sports Warriors. We are joined with Kay Hansen and Sara Pierotti. And we will be right back with both of them too.
Don't just watch. Don't just listen. Get involved. Get connected. Participate. Be a part of your entertainment. IELiveTV.com. It is next.
You want a new combat sports talk show? Check out the Sports Warriors with the DuCross brothers, Sean and Tristan DuCross, live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the DuCross Brothers Facebook fan page.
Don't just watch. Don't just listen. Get involved. Get connected. Participate. Be a part of your entertainment. IELiveTV.com. It is next.
You want a new combat sports talk show? Check out the Sports Warriors with the DuCross brothers, Sean and Tristan DuCross, live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the DuCross Brothers Facebook fan page.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Tristan DuCross. With me, as always, my brother, Sean DuCross. We are the Sports Warriors right here on IELiveTV.com. Facebook, just do the DuCross Brothers. You can find us on there. Friend us, Sean and Tristan DuCross. We got you covered on combat sports all day. We got Kay Hansen in the Warriors Den. We got Sara Pierotti in the building. It will go down. They will be joining us. She thinks it's absolutely hilarious. Kay Hansen's over there chilling like, I've been doing this for a while. I got this all day. Right? Right? She got this. She's like, dude, I'm cool. I'm comfy. This is chill. All right. So
What's not chill is the fact that Canelo Alvarez got popped not once, but twice for 2 tests. And when I was looking at this, I was confused. It doesn't seem like it takes a lot to confuse me lately in the world of combat sports. Because it seems like fighters just want to do the ridiculous things and say, it's not my fault, I swear. But Canelo Alvarez
he ate the wrong meat.
Did he? Did he really? Because let me go ahead and educate you.
Hey, don't you buzz me. Don't you buzz me. He ate the wrong meat.
Yeah, because buzz him again. Because let's see what happens, okay? Clenbuterol, and I butchered that probably, but
Close enough.
Is found in Latin America.
In Mexico.
Okay? Yes, it's found in tainted
hamburger.
meat.
Yep.
Yes. But
Everything's tainted in Mexico. That's why they go down to Tijuana and get tacos. Like, you want good street tacos, you go to TJ. Like, let's be real.
But
Dude, you go down to TJ and you eat street tacos, I can guarantee you coming back with something.
well, apparently he came back with a positive test for
Yeah.
a steroid. But you look at it.
You should
and
so
one
go to
interesting-
TJ,
one
eat the
interest-
meat, and we'll get you tested.
One interesting thing about this is the fact that in order
We should
for
get Kay Hansen to go down there. Get her tested. See what happens.
let's not go that far.
Invicta suspends her for eating tainted meat. And we'll be like, what happened? Well, she was on the DuCross Brothers. They challenged her to go down to TJ and get...
See if it's true.
Yes.
No.
Or Sarah, because she's not in Invicta. We could get her.
Tristan, just stop. So you look at
Trying to
this
get my
and
point.
yeah, well, your point is flawed. But you look at what this is that it's a pill. So in order to get popped for this steroid, it's a pill.
They put it in the meat.
They do feed
Like a donut.
They do feed the animals down there. Latin America
See?
has been popped numerous of times for this issue. But here's where it goes a little bit sideways is that,
Razor and Tokar. Remember them?
yeah, from turtles.
Yes. Remember the pill in the donut?
Yes,
Okay.
very similar to that.
See?
So you look at that and that's how you ingest this type of steroid. So do you believe in the sense that, yes, it was tainted meat, or the fact is that the drug is used for rapid fat burning
People telling us, preach.
and increased energy? Throw up the Canelo image that you just had.
Why? Because he looks like he's on
So,
steroids?
Yes, that's the whole point. When you look like him and you are trimmed like him and he's got like a 12-pack and he weighs in at 145 and he's supposed to be like 180, there's an issue there. So when you've got a big weight discrepancy and you struggle to make weight and you're always at a catch weight, and yet you've got this one steroid that you can pop in your mouth that will allow you to burn your fat rapidly, i.e. see the fact that he's got like 9,000 abs for a guy that weighs about 170. So you
I
look
don't
at
see
that
abs, but
in that one photo, but I mean, you see.
apparently our producer, Lyle Murdoch, behind the camera, has a photo of the 9,000
So
abs
it's
that Sean
hard.
was talking about.
So it's hard for me to sit back and say that it was tainted meat. Any person that gets popped for a steroid says it wasn't meat.
Really? Thank you, our producer, Lyle Murdoch, for the 9,000 ab picture.
You telling me that is natural muscle for a guy that is known to struggle with weight? Now that makes clear sense how he looks like that and still able to make 170.
He likes his Tijuana meat.
Dude, I'm telling you, I want tainted meat.
What are you talking about?
So instead of saying, let's send down Kay or Sarah down to TJ, why don't we send you down to TJ and see if you can score some tainted meat?
Send Lyle and I down to TJ. I will definitely find some Tijuana tacos and see if I get tested and see if I pass that clitoral test for steroids. Lyle, you down for that? We'll take cameras behind the scene.
So for me, it's hard to say that, you know what, it's tainted meat. You look at Jose Canseco, you look at Roger Clemens, you look at Rafael Palmeiro, all the people saying, I did not take steroids.
Okay, Bill Clinton.
I did not knowingly cheat.
Yeah, you did. Admit you did.
So you look at that and you see everything that's going on. It's like one of those things that you need to either accept responsibility and not point fingers. I said it then when we did our show as everything, when the steroid era came out, when
Man, we were
Alex
the
Rodriguez,
only one on touching on that subject.
when Alex Rodriguez was part of it, everybody else was part of it. One thing we said is that in America, right or wrong, good, bad, or indifferent, one thing that we do very well, whether you're right or wrong,
is we forgive.
if you admit fault.
Yep.
If you never admit fault and we know you're wrong, we will come after you tenfold. So in this situation, why is nobody going after Canelo? Why is Canelo still sitting in the wings and nobody's approached him? Nobody's bashed him except for Triple G saying that I've always known he's a cheater. He's always been a cheater. Hearns, he's always been a cheater. Look at the guy.
Okay.
Well, we just showed the guy.
But then my issue comes down to with the fact that, go ahead, tell me the last time he failed a drug test. I'll wait.
But who's to say that he's never failed a drug test?
It's boxing.
We've known boxing to be very corrupt
Very true.
and very deceiving. Who's to say that their poster boy in Canelo, who is with Golden Boy Promotions, who's with Oscar De La Hoya, the pretty boy, one of the bigger names in boxing he's ever had outside of Floyd Mayweather, Why wouldn't you protect your golden boy? It's just like we see with the UFC. They
has a
tried
new golden boy,
They
Ryan
tried.
Garcia.
They tried over and over and over again to protect John Jones because he was their golden boy.
Hold on. Can we get switched over real quick to Kay Hansen over here? She just go ahead. What's on your mind? Sean said John Jones, and she's like, "Oh my God."
I think he's ridiculous, in my opinion. I mean, if you're talking about like an embarrassment to the sport, John Jones is like number one, in my opinion. That's what I think. I think if you're gonna disrespect the game as many times he has, and let down the fans and let down the sport as many times he has, and you get chance after chance after chance. He was the main event. After messing up so many times, he got to face DC again in the main event at UFC 214, was it?
Yep.
And he won and whatever, and he had like 3 days to celebrate, and then he got popped again. And it's like, as a fan, like a pure fan of the sport, I think it's like a disgrace, in my opinion.
But see, my whole thinking about that too, it even ties into with Brock Lesnar, because think about it this way, is that people fail to understand is that John Jones, this is who John Jones is. Like, John Jones's brothers have a history of this. From college NFL to college to the NFL, drug issues, partying, and stuff like that has always been synonymous with the Jones brothers.
Yeah, but
and then
that's no one's problem but theirs.
Right.
I mean,
but everybody's like, oh well, we're gonna just sandbag on John Jones and stuff like that. This stuff should have been nipped in the butt at the beginning, because, again, when tests start popping up and start coming through the pipeline, why hide it? That's something Strikeforce used to do religiously, is that they would test people. And Alistair Overeem, nobody knows this, but Alistair Overeem was the biggest issue ahead of everything. Is that I could remember Sean and I covering a Strikeforce event. It was out in LA, and we met Alistair Overeem, dude's ginormous, and we heard a whole bunch of stories in the back locker room that this dude that they were falsifying tests. They were getting around the window because they weren't using USADA. They were using different drug tests. And Alistair Overeem was always getting around that curve. And then all of a sudden, you have a phenom on John Jones. You test him every single day. But then all of a sudden, you start wiping out the positive drug tests. You start pushing underneath the rug. And then all of a sudden, one leaks, and then it's a snowball effect. Like, as a promoter or anybody that's out there, should have been able to, like, dude, we got to cut
Tristan, and you said it's a snowball effect. So Canelo finally gets popped for tainted meat.
And so you think this is going to be a trend now? That
It could
something's
very well
going to give.
We could probably see the era of Canelo fall face first. Like you're on a cliff and you're running away from a monster that is going to catch you at the end of that hill. Your only option is to either jump from one end of the cliff to the other end of the cliff or just fall off.
Why not can't you be like Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger?
He may just fall off. There is going to be no cliffhanger here. He may just fall off the wagon and it'll be left for everybody to pick up the pieces. Like, you've got people lining up to say, hey, you know what? I'll fight Triple G. Who wouldn't fight Triple G right now? Either way it's going to happen. Cinco de Mayo, Triple G's
will have
fighting.
a fight, right?
Whether it is Canelo or not. But one thing that is happening this weekend is Joshua versus Parker.
Before his $500 million contract signing with the UFC, Joshua will take on Parker. Dude, that's what we should. Okay, $500 million for a boxer?
To come
Really?
to an MMA.
Really?
How does that make sense?
I don't know. I think Dana White has his intentions, and no one really knows what he's thinking besides him. And they have so much money. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of ridiculous. That's so much money.
If you could give $500 million to Anthony Joshua or Floyd Mayweather, who would you give $500 million to?
I don't really follow Joshua. I mean,
6'5", 260-pound monster.
4 world titles, going for his 5th this weekend Saturday.
Or a guy who is 50-0.
And says his wrestling skills is a 7.
yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a joke. I mean, come on.
So to go
There's
back
no
from
way.
last week, Tristan, Kay, what is your wrestling
skill.
number at?
Yes.
My wrestling?
Yes. Out of
Um,
10, what do we got?
I don't know. I'd say a 5. I'm a work in progress. I mean,
And you, Sarah?
That's what I would say.
What's your wrestling skills at?
I feel like wrestling needs a ton of work because I'm a jiu-jitsu girl. So probably like a 2.
So we got two girls that say
apparently
that they're
a guy
a 2.
who's never been MMA has a higher rating level than 2 women that is in MMA.
and that could
This
probably
guy has an ego size of New York. This guy, this is insane. But
How many strippers you got on the payroll?
But you look at Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Park. One thing I keep throwing back is that when I was looking at this fight, is okay, we have put Joshua up here. Everybody's put Joshua up here. And
Look
said
at the
that-
image. Look at the image that we have of Parker versus Joshua. There's a thing right there, smack dab in the middle. What is that?
Throne.
That is a chair fit
Yeah.
for a king.
It's the
Joshua in London. That is the only man that matters in this world. And if you think about it for a heavyweight title fight, people are sleeping on Parker because Parker
And
is
that's
the
what I was gonna
same
say.
size. A pure boxing. I always say boxing is a sweet science. You have to have an understanding of not being afraid to stand inside of a pocket and trade. You have 2 practitioners of boxing that are going to put on a show. We're not talking about Mr. Windmill himself in Deontay Wilder, literally throwing wild, and just because he hits like a brick doesn't make him a great fighter. But
You know, the favorite for this fight is Joshua. And
Of
when I
course.
was going back and I was looking at this fight, it's like, I go back to when I saw Joshua fight Vladimir Klitschko.
right,
And I keep going back in my head in that fight. And for years, you heard about Vladimir Klitschko or the Klitschko brothers, the family that you can't beat them as a heavyweight. They're unbeatable.
as
They're
long
like
as the brothers are
cyborgs.
in each other's quarters, nobody's going to
They
beat
can't
them.
be beat. Anthony Joshua came in and did the unthinkable. He knocked out Vladimir
Destroyed
Klitschko,
him.
took the titles, he reigned supreme. But then I go back and I look at Joseph Parker. And you look at Joseph Parker, 26 years old, 24 wins,
Former rugby
18
player.
knockouts. But they knock the guy and say that he's not impressive. He's slow. He doesn't have the power. He bulked up too much in his last fight. He lost an edge. Yes, he won his last 2 fights, but there was just something about it
That was missing.
That was missing.
Yep.
Well, come to know out of that fight was that he had 2 busted up elbows.
Yep.
He had surgeries on both his elbows. He's coming back in this fight slimmed down. He's coming back in this fight focused on speed, movement, agility, all that stuff like
Everything that brought him to the game when he was 16 years old and said, you know what, I want to take a shot at boxing.
One thing we say, whether it is MMA or boxing, if you're going to be successful, evolve. And why I bring up Klitschko versus Joshua is I now view as the title has turned. You've got Joshua who's up here, and I view him as now the Klitschko. The people who everybody seems to say is unbeatable. So you got Parker, who is the new Joshua, if you will. Who's to say he doesn't come in on Saturday and beat Joshua?
And take
then
all
where
his
does
titles.
all this talk come from about Wilder versus Joshua? Does it shift to Parker? The outcome could be so drastic to the world of boxing as we know it and shake it up to the point that many people will go, uh-oh, what's going on here? Because you also got Joshua who came out and said, I don't get paid for overtime. So he's going to come out to knock off Parker's head?
But also what's interesting about this is that you got Parker, who is a guy from New Zealand and Samoan by nature, views that this fight is being disrespected to all the people that are in New Zealand. He learned the craft from David Tua. You and I, for years, followed the man David Tua. That dude was the baddest man on the planet since Mike Tyson, and he would go to work, to the woodshed, with every known world title holder and yet still never come out with a world title. Parker has a title, something that David Tua couldn't do, and people are still sleeping on him because he doesn't have the name.
So want to know what's on the line Saturday? The IBF, the WBO,
WBO.
the IBO, and the WBO title. That's like a lot of titles. Who's going to hold them all up at the end of the line remains to be seen. But if I got to make my bold prediction,
Because that's what we do here on the Sports
I'm gonna
Warriors.
say Parker does the unthinkable.
And dethrones
Joshua, knocks him out in the 6th round. Something that Vladimir Klitschko had Joshua down.
If it goes past 5, I tend to agree. If it's under 5, Joshua's taking all the titles, and you're going to crown that man right behind us, the man of boxing, and no wonder why he's going to go to the UFC, because UFC's heavyweight division is a joke. You're talking about Stipe Miocic as the man holding the title.
As the only relevant heavyweight.
You got a puffed up like heavyweight going to heavyweight, and that's your heavyweight division? Go ahead. Crown that man. Zuffa boxing? Why not? You're going to go ahead and make Zuffa boxing a reality. Why not do it with the man that has all the titles in the world? So in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, come back out of break, and we're going to get to Kay Hansen and Sara. Yes, there they are, folks, right there, on Ladies' Night on the Sports Warriors with Tristan Ducross and Sean. We are the Sports Warriors on IELiveTV.com, on Facebook, Ducross Brothers, or friend us, Sean and Tristan Ducross. We'll be right back.
Don't just watch. Don't just listen. Get involved. Get connected. Participate. Be a part of your entertainment. IELiveTV.com. It is next.
You want a new combat sports talk show? Check out the Sports Warriors with the Ducross brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross, live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Ducross Brothers Facebook fan page.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. Along my side is my brother, Sean Ducross. We are here in the Warriors Den. We are joined on Ladies' Night is what we're calling this, because we got Kay Hansen, Invicta fighter, in the building. We got Sara Pierotti in the building. I don't think she likes it. I don't think I'm saying it correctly. So she's like, nah, not happening. So we're going to start off with Sara first. Sara, because Kay Hansen's been chiming in like every subject that we have. She's been like, I got something to say. We immediately cut to her. So Sarah's been kind of quiet. Now let's see where we can get you. So Sara, you started in mixed martial arts originally for self-defense.
That is correct, yes.
And now all of a sudden, here you are, about to make your amateur MMA debut. Tell the fans out there what exactly transpired to get you from doing self-defense to all of a sudden say, you know what, I feel like punching somebody in the face.
Well, as I started with self-defense, I then became a mentor in self-defense and started helping teach the kids classes and stuff like that, from going to different self-defense seminars and just showing mostly women, but some men too, how to defend themselves. And I just really enjoyed that, and I'm very passionate about all of that. I then began to take all the other martial arts that my school at the time had to offer, and I loved every bit of it. I was paying for all the classes, so why not? I've been into sports a lot throughout my life, but I never really stuck with one, and I feel like martial arts just never has an ending. Like, you're always learning something new, and it has just taught me a lot. After I think about 9 months of training, my coach had asked me if I wanted to compete in pancration fight. I had no idea what that was. He explained it to me, and I just said, sure, I want to make sure what you're teaching me works. So I then began to do that, and I just loved every bit of it.
And when you say you wanted to see if it works, didn't you have a fight with the girl that's sitting right next to you?
Yes, I did.
And how exactly did that turn out?
Kay Hansen was my second pancration fight. I didn't have a lot of experience in competing at that time. I was actually talking to her a bit before they had asked me to take the fight with her. I wanted to train with her. And they said that her opponent backed out. So I took the fight on a 7-day notice, dropped 12 pounds. Going into the fight, I felt like I should just do it because I was going to be turning 18 soon. And this is pancration for the youth. So I think I was about 17 at the time. And I just kind of wanted to take it as like another fight just to have on my records for pancration. And I knew she was really excited to fight because I had been following her. And I'm still following her to this day. She's an amazing fighter. And so, I took the fight, and I got my ass kicked by Kay. It was a really good fight. My coaches didn't really have many answers for me. They trained me for a completely different fighter. But it was really good experience, and I loved every bit of it. And to this day, I'm still following Kay Hansen. She's awesome.
So for the fight fans that are just getting to know you, what is your type of style? What are you more comfortable with doing? I heard you earlier say that you're more of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. Is that still more what you are now, or are you more transitioning to a striker?
I feel like I started off more as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu type of fighter. My main martial art that I started with is Kung Fu Sansu, which is like street fighting. So that was kind of my self-defense art. And then I ventured off into Jiu-Jitsu, a little bit of wrestling here and there, MMA, American kickboxing. And then that transitioned into Muay Thai, into more wrestling classes and stuff like that. And I just feel like my striking game hasn't been that great to begin with, but I'm continuing to grow in that aspect, and I'm getting a lot better, and I love standing up a lot more now. If the fight doesn't get taken to the ground, I'm perfectly okay with standing up. But ultimately, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu are my two arts right now.
So come May 12th, what are fans going to expect to see from you when you step into that cage for your first amateur MMA debut? Because now you can actually throw a little bit more damage than in pancration.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Kay Hansen's nice little stitch going on.
I won't say too much because I don't want to give it away. So come and see my fight if you're that interested. I definitely like to see it go standing for a bit, and then if things happen to get taken to the ground, then I'll probably try and finish her from there.
So there you have it. She wants to finish the fight either way, standing or on the ground. But got to switch it over to Kay Hansen,
who apparently had a completely different outcome than what we all thought how the fight was going to go down. And as you can clearly see, stitches are part of her face now.
And I got a chance to talk to Kay earlier about the stitches because she gets them out. So the cut looked worse on TV than it actually was. But yet everybody I heard that said, oh my God, it was a bloodbath. But it was only a bloodbath because the cut just bled. At what point do you stop taking something so small and stop blowing it up so big?
What I want to blow up real big right now is, seriously, 8 unanswered headshots to the back of the head, and all the ref kept doing was yelling at you saying, do something, do something.
I mean, I think the ref did a good job. I'm not complaining about anything. I'm not going to say, like, strikes to the back of the head. I mean, she did what she executed, and, I wasn't defending myself. I think the ref gave me a lot of time. When you go back and watch it, I see a couple to the back of the head, but she's going for the kill, I'd be doing the same thing. It's hard, especially I'm moving around, she's trying she wasn't trying to hit me in the back of the head. You know what I mean? She was just doing what I would have done too. I mean, I was on the ground and I lost fair and square. So
If you could go back in time, what would you do differently in that situation of getting suplexed?
Take the DeLorean back and go.
yeah, well, I definitely wouldn't try that half-ass hip toss that I went for. I don't know what the point of that was. I kind of set myself up for a suplex there, but
See, I was going to
I
mention
mean-
that little whatever you want to call headlock that you were trying to do.
yeah, I don't know. I remember I got hit with the elbow and I saw the blood drop, and my first instinct was like to try to grab, and you know what I mean. I made a poor decision to try to throw a half-ass head and arm hip toss kind of deal, and she made me pay for it. She capitalized on a big mistake that I made, and overall, that's what won her the fight. So
being one of the young female fighters in this game
Mhm.
and at the level you're at right now, how do you now cope with that first big loss after you came in with guns blazing with an armbar submission in your first fight to this?
yeah, you know, I'm not gonna like sit here and say that like I'm moved on, I'm great. Like I'm heartbroken. You know what I mean? I poured so much into this fight, and I think it's just it's how it was meant to go, I guess. I mean, it kind of humbled me. It brought me back down. I've been on cloud 9 for a long time now, you know. A super young stud coming in, but, you know, I got humbled, and I think it's what I needed. I think I have to go back to square one right now. I have to fix a lot of flaws that I had.
Like the hip toss. Got
Yeah,
it.
to not ever do that again. I don't know why I did that. But anyways, you know, I think it taught me to not take things for granted. You know, I worked really hard for this camp, but in the moment I didn't deliver and I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and she capitalized, and you know, it looked really bad, all the blood and everything. It was a little cut, but you know, at the end of the day, I didn't execute what my teammates helped me prepare for. I knew her game plan. It was just the worst part. Is I knew her game plan. I knew what she wanted to do. I knew she was a good wrestler. I knew she was good in the clinch, and I worked with my back on the cage, getting off, and you know, I had so many people help me with that, and I just couldn't execute the game plan. And I think that's what it comes down to: is she followed hers and I didn't follow mine, and that's the fight game.
So do you have Diaz type of skin where you bleed easy?
I don't know. That's the first time I didn't feel it. Like I felt like something like grazed me, but I mean, it felt like just like someone like that to me. And then before you knew it, like I saw drops. It was like big drops of blood, and I was like, I guess I just got cut. I mean, I got hit a couple times hard in the fight, and like I knew I got hit, but I didn't know that I got cut right away. But I saw the blood, and I was like, all right, I guess I got cut.
Yeah,
Tell
see,
me somebody gave you a photo of your crimson mask, and now you can have that.
It's actually my screensaver right now
There you go.
on my
see?
phone, because I never want it to happen again. So I have to remind myself.
I was
to not
like,
let
dude,
that
that would
happen
be a sick photo.
And I thought that when I saw that, it looked like you were cut by an elbow, and your
Yeah, I was.
reaction
Yeah.
was unsure of what just happened in that moment. Is the way that I took your look that was on your face, and I'm not sure if you felt that way, but from the outside looking in was like, what just happened here? And
Well,
then
because I remember like I was moving away, and then she threw the elbow, and I remember I like looked down and I saw like big drops of blood, and I was like, okay, I just got elbowed and I got cut. You know what I mean? It's my first time getting cut. I've never been cut before, but
not even in practice.
No, but I realized I've been hit hard in practice, like really hard, but I've never got cut before. But I saw the blood, so I knew right away, and I didn't really panic, but like my first instinct was like to grab, like I don't want it to get hit again, which was probably not the best instinct to grab and try to hip toss her, especially someone, she's strong, you know what I mean? It's not going to work. It's a half-ass attempt, you know what I mean?
Should have channeled your inner Ronda Rousey on that one.
Yeah, I should have just separated, but
Went back to the
coulda,
drawing
shoulda,
board.
woulda. I can't take it back, so.
But that's the
I
whole
mean-
point of looking back at tape, talking to your coaches,
Yeah.
revisiting the situation. Because, like I said earlier in the show, to be good, to be great, you can't be afraid to evolve.
Yeah.
Things will transpire in life that you don't always have the ability to control. It's how well do you adapt to that and roll with it. And I think you two are the prime example of not letting stuff get to you and being able to move on. And you look at your story, what just happened. To go back to Sara and her story of how she got to where she's at. everything that she's transpired. If she wants to go ahead and, as we get ready to go out here, do you want to let people in a little bit more about you before we go out? A little bit more of a background about how you got to wanting to do the self-defense and wanting to get to MMA?
Sure, I'm pretty much an open book.
Drop that.
So
Wait, hold on. Do we have tissues?
Shut up.
I didn't bring a Kleenex box. Do you have a Kleenex box, Lyle? Okay.
So I grew up pretty much living in a van with my mom, single parent, and she would always try to find like a place for me to live, and that wasn't really like, didn't put me in the best type of situations. And then just all throughout, like up until high school, I would just get bullied a lot, and I hung out with the wrong people thinking that the friendship that I had was a good friendship, and it wasn't, because I was getting abused in different ways. And then I just moved and decided to just leave because I knew that it wasn't a healthy situation for me. And I discovered, it was my mom's birthday week, and I was with her, and I discovered a martial arts school over in Fullerton, and I was asking him about self-defense, and then he just told me to come back that night, and I came back that night, and I'd just been going every day that they're open. I'd be going in the morning before school, I'd get home from school, go straight there, and just stay there for like 5 or 6 hours. And I just do that every day, and it was kind of like my therapy in a way. And then I just began to notice myself change, and just myself as a person, like, started to become more confident, had standards set for myself, more disciplined, obedient, and humble. So I have no regrets for any of the crazy stuff that had happened to me. Because I wouldn't be where I was or where I am today if it wasn't for that. So, yeah.
So see, you've got two young up-and-coming women who that in this environment, and we're getting ready to wrap it up here, is that in this environment, there's not a lot of people that the youth have an opportunity to look up to.
You got two right here.
Just by getting a chance to talk to these two women, you could see how humble they are, and that if you're the youth looking for gaining confidence, self-defense, go look at their gyms. Go join them. Learn from them. You want role models that this community is so desperately lacking? Look no further than these two ladies. That's the thing, is that you've got to have role models in all sports to look up to. It's hard to find them sometimes. It is really hard to find them in mixed martial arts or combat for that matter. We have two of them on. Sara, Kay. After our show, we'll post their social media. Follow them. Learn what they do and how amazing these two women are. But next week, we'll be back again the same time at 7 p.m.
on IELiveTV.com.
Sara fights May 12th for IE Fight Night. We'll be there because we're the commentators. Stay on the lookout for Kay Hansen. Lyle Murdoch will be there. Stay on the lookout for Kay Hansen and further updates when she'll be fighting next for Invicta. Till next time, we are the DeCross Brothers.
I'm Tristan DeCross. That's Sean DeCross. Until next time, we're out.